We're live. Hey guys, Joel with Coreware. Today is going to be the most exciting webinar you guys probably have ever attended in the past, 3 hours. We've got today with us, obviously, Coreware Actual, which is Ezra Weinstein. And we've got the guys from Smartwaiver, Brett and Jim, that are going to tell you about Smartwaiver. But until then, enjoy this masterpiece written by the robot overlords talking about this waiver system. We're going to give a couple of minutes for everybody to show up, and then we'll dive in.
Hey, Joel, what are we charging Smartwaiver for this song?
$450.
There you go.
Per play. We're on the third right now.
I'm glad I joined this webinar just to hear this song.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a catchy little tune.
It is. Jim, I'm not joking about the $450 per play, by the way.
Checks in the mail. Checks in the mail. I think we need to send this to like Luke Bryan or somebody like that.
Hey, Joel, just a suggestion for next one.
Mm-hmm.
You should be showing the lyrics as we're listening to the music. It would be cool.
That would be cool. Because they are sometimes the robots aren't good at enunciating. That will definitely be in the next one.
You didn't have to share the secret. You could have told them we hired a band and we've got I could have charged a whole lot more for this. You're fired, Joel.
Hey, see you guys later. Hey, Jim, Brett, what did I tell you? I said I'm going to introduce you and then I'm going to go away. Ezra did it.
I didn't think in that capacity, but all right.
No, seriously, I'm going to hand it over to Ezra because he can explain this in much more detail than I can. Why this is such a big deal, not only for our customers but potential customers. So I'm going to step away, and you guys let me know if you need anything. Let me know when you're ready to pop that screen up.
Awesome. So, hello, everyone. Actually, Joel, I don't know if you remember where I'm at because I barely remember where I'm at. I've been all the way from in the last month. I've been to Germany, Austria. No, not on vacation. And then was in New Hampshire. And now I'm in the Coreware offices in Dubuque, Iowa, where we have some of our support staff. You'll see behind me this brick wall. It's really cool. I'm in a building that Dubuque, Iowa is a super cool town. And I'm being serious. For anyone who is anywhere near the Iowa area, I think it's worth a visit. They used to have a lot of industry here. So there's tons of old plants and factories that the city has gone through and pushed reviving the downtown, and a lot of the private sector has come in and updated these buildings, and it's just a super cool place. So I decided I was going to be here for a week, and now I'm on week number 2 where I've been just totally living and working with our support staff. We're busy updating a lot of our knowledge base articles and just trying to clean things up for Coreware. And part of, as I go through all of our knowledge base and help tickets, and part of what Coreware has done really well over the years was integrate with various partners. And one of them being Smartwaiver. We built the integration. I think we've been working with Smartwaiver for at least 3 years, possibly longer. Actually, no, I think it's been potentially almost 4 years. Yeah. We specifically, and I've always told people, look, we part of one of our platforms, CoreForce, has some waiver capabilities, but we're not a waiver company. And there are certain things everyone knows I'm a big believer in. The less tools you have for your business, the easier it is to manage, right? Having one throat to choke. But at the same time, when it comes to certain areas, Coreware can't be all things to all people. My dad always told me, may you rest in peace, Ezra, don't become a jack of all trades and a master of none. And I didn't listen to his advice completely because, as it is, Coreware does a lot of things. But where I like to separate and where I like to recommend to customers, look outside of the Coreware box, is some areas that, especially areas that touch upon legal. We are by no means a company that deals with we deal with a lot with compliance issues, but again, legal issues becomes a whole other area. And Smartwaiver, literally a company that has been dedicated to focusing on waivers, and obviously in today's constantly growing society of litigation, you need to really cover your ass and make sure that in the event, right, of something happens, you want to make sure that you've got a system that basically, if you end up in court or end up in a legal battle, that you've got a rock solid system for any waiver type instance that you may be dealing with. And again, waivers go far beyond just gun ranges, right? If you're a gun store that offers classes, if you're just an outdoor sports, if you offer anything that could end up with you having a business liability, waivers are extremely important. And making sure that you have a really good, solid waiver solution could literally be either a way for you to prevent disaster, and the flip side, if you don't have that, you could have disaster on your hands. And again, a lot of people don't think of it because they think, hey, that's an outlying case, we don't need to worry about it. But at the end of the day, it's no different than making sure you have the right type of insurance, right? We all hate paying for insurance. I do. But again, it's the issue of what happens if, and how if you don't have something good in place, it can jeopardize your business. So we connected and integrated into Smartwaiver, and I still feel we have one of the best integrations because it's so seamless, the way CoreStore works with Smartwaiver. We did this a few years ago, and Smartwaiver, and I'll let them introduce themselves and tell you all about Smartwaiver, but for many years they focused on the outdoor sports in general. They've always had a lot of customers in the firearm industry. Last year, we were able, it's been such a good integration. We weren't necessarily working with each other on a regular basis, but last year, I think through just looking at their customer base, Smartwaiver decided, hey, we really want to focus more, not necessarily focus more, but put more focus on the firearms industry, which again, Coreware, most of our customers are in the industry. And we were super excited to reconnect and reinvigorate our integration and relationship. And Smartwaiver immediately jumped and sponsored our customer appreciation dinner this last SHOT Show. And this year, we definitely are making it a mission to strengthen the relationship, which will again benefit all of our customers. And we're going to strengthen the integration. So super excited for this webinar. Again, I'm going to step down and just turn it over to Smartwaiver, but I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. And this is going to be just a great webinar. I think some existing customers that use you already are on here, and some customers that may not use you. But again, for all of our audience, think through, your business, right? And think through where you may really need to use a waiver. because it goes far beyond, and I'm sure Jim and Brett will have even better examples than mine, but some of our customers are manufacturers, and you would think, hey, why would a manufacturer need a waiver system? Well, guess what? If they have an event, where there have dealers come in or even consumers come in and they're having a shooting event that requires a waiver. Again, I mentioned classes. If you're teaching classes, you're taking your customers out to the range or to a range, even if you don't have one. That's room for a waiver. So many instances, you 1,000,000%, and for someone that knows the expenses of the legal system, it's it's something you want to try to avoid. I promise you all that. With that said, super excited to have you guys, and I'll let you take over and show us all the awesome features of Smartwaiver, and let us know what's, hopefully our audience here will learn some things that maybe nobody else knows, like what's coming and what to look forward to. Maybe we'll barter a song in exchange for some cool information.
Hey, real quick.
Go ahead, Joel.
For everyone that may be having questions on integration and setting everything up, we'll have a knowledge base article that we'll be sending out to all attendees that will help you get up and running in no time. So not saying don't ask those
super
questions.
Easy.
It's everything's already covered. So ask the meaty questions about, waivers and how Smartwaiver can help you.
Yeah, and the long and short of it is we can import all existing waivers as well. We can work with Smartwaiver to do that. So I know that's probably one of the big questions that a lot of people will ask. So
yeah, Ezra and Joel, thanks for having us. Just great to be here. Thanks for taking time. Thanks to everybody that's on this call. And I know it's being recorded, I believe, so I'll be able to share it out afterwards. It'll be a little bit challenging to dive through the entire integration, over this webinar, but Jim and I definitely want to try to answer as many questions and give some background on Smartwaiver. And Ezra, I echo, I'm 6 months in here at Smartwaiver, but echo the obviously the partnership pre-existed before me, through Jim's efforts and some of other of our team on our team. And we are definitely putting more emphasis into the firearms and shooting category and vertical. Just wanted to make sure that we really support not just your customers, but the entire industry with what they need. And so I'm going to advance a few slides here. Oops, let me just change my screen. Different platforming. I think I'd be used to it by now. So just real quick, obviously Joel and Ezra just said, jump in with questions. I think you can drop them in the chat, and then Ezra will be able to, or Joel will be able to relay those to us and ask them here online, as those come across. So quick introduction, we've had that quick Smartwaiver intro, how to get set up on the account and activate it. And of course, Q&A, and then also how to contact Jim and our sales and support team kind of at the end. So that's the flow. And Jim, I'll pause here. I really you've been with Smartwaiver for 10 plus years. I really take a chance, introduce yourself and share a bit more about Smartwaiver here.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Actually, Monday was my 11th anniversary with this fine software. So
I'm off 11. That's unheard of in these days.
I know. I'm waiting for my watch at some point, so I don't know if that's in the mail or where it's coming. But so the thing about being here 11 years is I can tell you I've seen the product grow, the customer base. I like to say that I know where all the bodies are buried. So it's for good or bad. Anyway, it's been a fun ride. Our partnership with Coreware has been just amazing since day one. I think it does have the record right now for the quickest turnaround as far as signing up for a sandbox account and getting an integration built. So I doubt anybody's going to beat, I think, what was it, 2 or 3 days that it took to build the integration. So kudos on that one. But yeah, we're just really excited about having the opportunity here to present the product.
Yeah. And for those of you on the call that haven't, I'm sure there's some on the call that have spoken with Jim. He takes pride in Smartwaiver and how he consults to find the best solution the best setup for your business. So I think although I'm new to Smartwaiver, I can definitely see that, and with the partners and customers that I speak with. And this slide here just speaks to, we're very fortunate at Smartwaiver. We've had a great run, 11 years. You know, a large number of customers are active customers. Last year we implemented kiosk stations that's being enhanced as we speak, and new plans as we come into Q3 and Q4 for this year and next year. And just a few 100 million signed waivers over the years. So kudos to our team, but that's also because of the people on this call too, our customers. So we want to thank our customers for that.
Yeah, I always like to say 200 million of anything is a lot. So yeah, it's a really impressive stat there.
Yeah, one of the things I think Ezra or Joel mentioned something like maybe some differentiating factors or why Smartwaiver. If you want to hit on that a little bit here, Jim, cover on that.
Yeah, for sure. So, some of the things just high level to talk about is, a lot of, if you're shopping for SaaS products in general, right? I think the first question is always like, what is it going to cost me, right? And so Smartwaiver from day one has been very transparent with our pricing. We do not charge you to set up a account. We do not require a contract, right? You can sign up for a free trial account. You can choose from one of our existing plans. I'll talk about how to contact me if you want a custom plan. But there's no hidden fees with Smartwaiver. What you see on our website is what you're going to pay. So we're not going to nickel and dime you with additional features and, you only get this with this product. No, it's all available on any one of our monthly tiers. That kind of speaks to our customizable pricing. So one thing that we like to do is if you go to our website, look at our pricing and it doesn't match your business, great. We can figure out a way to customize our pricing to match whatever your annual waiver volume is. And so that's specifically what my team is here to help provide. And so we're definitely here to kind of, whatever that volume is, we can help you customize that. Our support is world-class. I think that, we have built up a great team that is available. I typically like to say that if you want to get signed up and going with Smartwaiver, we can usually have you going within the hour because they're that quick to have it turned around and get your account set up, waivers converted, and then get that integrated with Coreware. So our support team, I can't say enough about them. And then we also provide each one of our customers the ability to access the full product. A lot of companies kind of limit it where you have to go through their support team and you can't actually make adjustments or do anything, make any changes to the digital waiver. We don't restrict that. And so basically, if you feel comfortable making adjustments to your account, you have the same access that we have. So a couple of things that I think differentiate us from our competition.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I think one of the big things that Ezra, you mentioned on earlier was just functionality and how many things that within our core product, but how we equip operators and with functionality. Jim, could you share kind of the highlights of our functionality and how robust it is?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll speak specifically to the shooting range industry. We obviously support a variety of different industries, but I think some of the features that I have seen through my 11 years that have been very popular with shooting ranges is, first thing is the ability to add a video. So oftentimes you're going to have a introduction video or a tutorial that anybody needs to review prior to stepping into the range. And so we have that ability through our product. And so you can basically insert that video, require it to be reviewed in full, and then it goes into the actual waiver. We also give you the ability or the customer's ability to bypass the video, but they do have to acknowledge that they've already watched it. So I think this is a very popular feature, and this will operate. And I'll talk about this in a little bit about how to actually use the Smartwaiver product, but this is available on any one of the platforms that you would basically sign a waiver. So video, very, very popular feature, something I highly recommend everybody setting up. And then the next kind of on the right-hand side here, sorry, go back one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, is customizable features. And so what I'm referring to here is these are questions that we can add on the actual waiver itself. So starting with a file attachment. So if you have a requirement to have an ID or some sort of file uploaded to the waiver itself, Very easy to include that within your waiver, and then a participant or a customer filling out the waiver would upload their ID within while they're filling out the document itself. And then below that, we have the ability to create custom fields. Custom fields can be basically, they can allow you to be notified if for some reason somebody answers a question that you need to be aware of. And so go ahead and go to the next slide there.
There you go.
So for example, if I had a question about, do you have a conviction, or if there's something that basically prohibits you from entering the range, we can red flag that within our waiver dashboard. And then by simply clicking into that specific flag, you can find out kind of what the actual thing is that you need to review prior to that customer entering the range. So those are just some high level examples of functionality and features that we can add to the waiver product. But that is by no means kind of the entirety, but those are just definitely some of the things that I've seen from other ranges that have used our product and some of the features that are beneficial.
Yeah, definitely peace of mind, like being able to get that background information and make sure that these operators and businesses are in compliance. Looking at Joel and Ezra both mentioned the integration, and I think it is the fastest that I've seen since I've been here, for sure, getting that up and going, and just the key aspects of that. And integrations are great as long as they're easy to use and not many steps. So maybe we could touch on that just a little bit, Jim, on that process, and maybe we might want Joel or Ezra to jump in here too, potentially. But I'll start with you, Jim.
Yeah, on a high level, when we're talking about integrations, obviously it starts with the waiver signing process. And so whether that's done on a mobile device, whether that's done on a laptop, basically it starts there. That information is then entered into Smartwaiver and then passed into Coreware. The specifics are kind of on the back end, and I'll let either Joel or Ezra speak to that. But the general workflow is kind of what we have on our screen here as kind of a 1, 2, 3 step process.
Yeah, and just to mention the workflow, which is really nice and flexible, because typically someone's walking into the establishment. Let's use the example of a range. The first thing they want to do is go up to a kiosk and get their waiver done, right? And what's neat is the way the systems work is as soon as they're done with their waiver, so they've created essentially a contact within Smartwaiver, we automatically, right, add that contact into CoreStore as soon as they sign that waiver. So really, once they sign the waiver and go up to the counter so they can purchase their targets and pay for their lane time, that customer's already established. If they are a member of the range, or they've signed a waiver before, they'll skip the kiosk, right, and go right to the register. And basically we just scan the driver's license or search by email, and we not only show the status of the waiver, because you can have optionally have expiration dates on waivers, which we recommend, in our industry, to always have an expiration date. Typically it's a year. But we literally will show, as soon as we pull up the customer, we show whether that waiver is expired, if it's active, or if it's within 30 days of expiration. And we just use a nice color coding of green, orange, and red. Red, of course, means expired. And the other nice thing is the user, right from the register screen, when they see if it's, they see there's a waiver there, they can click it and actually view it. And that's really important because procedurally, you want to make sure, if someone comes in and says, hey, I signed a waiver, and yeah, I have my kid with me, right? But yeah, last time I made sure that I signed the waiver and included, the child. You definitely don't want to, from a store operator, and again, everyone's busy, right? But certain things you don't want to take shortcuts on. So you want to verify and a lot of times make sure visibly that you see that signature, and that, again, in the example that I gave, one of the nice features is Smartwaiver lets you have basically a waiver that covers minors. And there are different ways to implement that within Smartwaiver. But no matter what, you can quickly verify, hey, is this waiver? Yeah, I see it's not expired, but now this person has their kid with them. Did they really sign the right waiver? And again, that's a great example of, if you skip that and don't double check that absolutely can land you in a whole world of trouble. So from a workflow standpoint, super easy, super fast. Just click the button, pull up the waiver, double check it, and let them get on the lane and get going.
Yeah, absolutely there, Jim. I don't know if you have anything to add, but that definitely I've heard that from customers that you've spoken with, just how that streamlines the process and helps them ensure that they've covered those must check off boxes that they have to have, before someone can enter the facility. Have you heard anything else too? Maybe there's more we could cover, like ease of use. Maybe I think there's a few additional things we could provide there. You could cover on, and how we enable the operators to really kind of promote and get those waivers out quickly, efficiently, and in a few different ways too.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, guys. Before you answer this, and this is Ezra style. Yeah, I have to bring my attention to Joel because I'm seeing him. I didn't know if he's having a seizure with his hand, but then I realized he's the only human on Earth that I literally told him not to do this, but he's the only human right now that owns what's called a human AI pin, which I don't know if you've heard of the AI pin.
How did I get on the screen?
Joel, why don't, yeah, it's magic. So Joel, I need to break apart this webinar and explain to people that what's on your shirt there is an AI device that's been rated as one of the worst, literally the worst pieces of technology that has ever entered into this universe. So can you pull it off and show everyone what I'm talking about? And then I'll resume the webinar, but I had to give you shit because that thing is literally, so for those of you,
it's
go
really,
ahead.
It's really, if it were released when they initially talked about it, it would have been magical. But everything's just advancing so rapidly that it really does kind of suck. I'm just testing it. I still have like 2 weeks. And I just wanted to see, because there was a lot of people talking about it. And I'll be honest with you, Ezra, it's not as bad as all those initial reviews. Like it seemed to me like there was something like organized behind it. It's still not awesome at all. Like when you first saw it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is magical. But it is, also, how did I get on the screen? Did you put me on here when you saw me messing around?
Of course I put you on there. Yeah,
Oh
I had to
gosh,
give you shit because I'm like, what in the world is he doing? Hey, show it to everyone and then we can resume.
Yeah. Anyway, this is an AI pen. Basically, it's for people that want to get away from their screens. So you basically, it's a computer, right? It runs on a not a special operating system, but a proprietary operating system that basically accesses AI, right? So all the different language models. And one thing that they do have coming, Ezra, that you may be interested in, that I don't even think Apple's going to have till next year, is access to Google Calendars, which to me, that's pretty cool. If they could just plug in the email, it would be even better. But anyway, so that's what Ezra's talking about. It's the humane AI pen, and don't buy it right now.
Don't buy it. I mean, literally, they're trying to sell the company for, I think, $1 billion. They're talking, latest thing I read was HB was talking to them. It is a neat little design, but and what I was watching Joel do was he was using his hand because it has a camera on it, so it detects his hand movement, and it also has a laser screen that is projected from the device. It's projected onto your palm. But it's just, I mean, it's kind of like cool concept, but poorly executed. So lesson learned, I mean, this is where I think tying it back to Smartwaiver, there's a lot of other solutions out there. Same thing with Coreware, but it's all about execution, right?
Right.
That
Absolutely.
one's a pretty poorly executed. And since we're talking real quick on AI, and Jim, before you answer Brett's question, I'm just curious, and I'm literally just curious, is Smartwaiver, I know at Coreware, we are, we have some AI elements in our marketing platform. We're slowly looking at, because I don't, AI is such a buzzword, I don't want to be one of those companies that says we got AI, and it's total bullshit. So we're slowly starting to look at how we weave AI into our solutions. I was just curious, is Smartwaiver starting to look at any of that? I don't even know if there's any real, application, but just curious, have you guys as a company been looking at AI?
Yeah, I don't think that you can operate in any SaaS space and not think about it. It's a different space. It's a different space for us because we don't write the legal language, right? And so what we don't, could we potentially offer that as a legal service? Maybe, yeah. That's definitely on the table, but we are just kind of, we are thinking about, the next version of, what Smartwaiver looks like, right? And so I think we definitely have to open the door for the capability of adding AI into the software.
And I guess that's another.
How's that for a non-answer? Yeah.
No, it's right now. I mean, it's a very similar answer to what we give, because again, I don't want to be, just throwing out the word AI and, not offering true benefit to customers. So, and AI, again, it's a tool, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a tool, and it's meant to, save a lot of time, but it also is a tool that can cause a lot of time wasted, is what we've discovered. Right. I mean, just ask Joel, playing with that human AI pen has probably cost him way too many hours than it's worth. But
not yet.
No, that's interesting. And I think, Jim, real quick, and I apologize for the interruption, but that is another good point. Smartwaiver doesn't provide you still need, as the business owner, you still need to work with your attorney, right, to come up with an actual waiver. And I think that's a really important point. And a lot of businesses, you take the shortcuts, or you decide, hey, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write a waiver for me, which inherently might not be nothing wrong with it, as long as your final step is making sure to consult your attorney, right? I mean, would that be a fair statement, Jim? Like, that we should probably make sure to tell people, you make sure you actually have an attorney review.
Absolutely, because there's regionality that's associated with any sort of liability release. And just because somebody in North Carolina that's using a specific waiver, that doesn't mean it's going to apply to you in Texas. So, yes, absolutely consult with an attorney prior to, approving any sort of liability language.
Yeah. So, Ezra, it's a good interjection. Great question. And glad you interjected there. Just hopefully we don't write an AI song. I don't know. Although that AI song early at the beginning was actually pretty good.
It's catchy. I liked it.
Definitely catchy.
Top in the chart.
Let's see here. So maybe we can touch, Jim, on some of the, I guess, advanced abilities that we provide businesses here.
Yeah, let's just quickly talk about how you fill out a Smartwaiver. All right. So the first way is just using a URL, right? Once a waiver has been published, you're going to have that dedicated URL that you can embed. Don't worry, you can make changes to it at any time, but it's basically yours. So, you have that URL once it's published, like I said, put it up on your website. Second thing is setting up a QR code in your lobby. That's kind of the same thing as the URL, but it's basically so somebody can use their phone to fill out the waiver if they don't want to go to a website. So it's really, really easy for everybody's phone to become its own kind of tablet. next slide, we'll talk about an easier way to have that filled out. It's just enter somebody's phone number, and we'll send them an SMS message. And if you can see that on the right-hand side, that's kind of the language that's happening. But you can fill out the waiver by just sending them a text message. So once again, very, very easy. And then the final thing I want to talk about is the ability to use our kiosk app. Our kiosk app has a couple of features that just like to talk about. And so how this works is you download an iOS or Android app on one of those devices. You register to your account, and basically it's going to display the same waiver that's being presented in a browser. But we also allow you to capture photos of that participant while they're filling out a waiver. And then we also allow you to use the waiver in an offline capacity. So if for some reason you lose internet or you're at a remote location and you just need to capture signatures and upload them later, our kiosk app will do that automatically for you. So there's definitely a benefit of using those devices or using a kiosk setup for your establishment. And so that, like I said, will give you the ability to capture photos and then also use it in an offline capacity. All right. And another thing about easy use. So we talked about how your customers are going to fill out the waiver. Here is how you are going to view the waiver. So we have a dedicated dashboard that you can use. And so once you log into Smartwaiver, it's going to show you everybody that filled out a waiver. It doesn't matter if it was 5 seconds ago or 5 years ago. We're going to have that information. So for any reason you need to download the PDF, you can easily go to your Smartwaiver account, type in a last name, and that will find that waiver. And then you can just publish it from or download it from there. We also offer a secondary app called the Waiver Console app. And one of the benefits of that app is you can attach a photo after a waiver has been completed. So you can see there on the screen, that is an example of I filled out a waiver, but I need to attach a photo post-completion. And so basically I can just include that photo to that signed document. So another benefit of capturing photos and just proving that the person that filled out the waiver is who they say they are.
Yeah, Jim, and I think the slide before, I don't know if it's easy to see on this, but Smartwaiver, if I have multiple locations or if I need multiple forms, right, can you share a little bit about that? Is there a limit to how many templates somebody could have?
There is no limit, Brett. Good question. So if you have a need for 5 templates or 500 templates, you can build that within Smartwaiver, and there is no additional fee for that. So whatever your requirement is for templates, so if you have one-off events that you need to use, Smartwaiver can support that as well. So yeah, whatever your requirements are, as far as the different types of documents, we can support that within an account. Yeah.
Great. I think one question that probably is on everybody's mind is we hear a lot about this. I think at least I feel like I'm reading like maybe twice a month or at least once a month data breaches, right? Or security. So how could you speak to a little bit about how Smartwaiver, about compliance and security and how we handle and secure data? Obviously not at a super tech level, but maybe you could just give a quick
For sure. Yeah, I just want to give a preface. Sales guy, not the IT guy. So we're going to touch on some of the certifications and qualifications that Smartwaiver's gone through over the years, starting with, I'll actually go to the second bullet point there on the e-sign and UTA compliance. And so that's really how any digital document service can operate, right? And so just for background information, there was the e-sign Act was passed in 2000 in the United States. And basically what that did is it took ink and digital signatures and put them kind of on the same playing field. Most countries have passed similar litigation or acts, if you will, around the same time. And so that's kind of how your DocuSigns and your Smartwaivers are able to function is through that legislation. So that is kind of how we came to be. Something that we did recently is a SOC 2 compliance. And so what that does is just make sure that all of our controls and our accesses comply with the SOC 2 protocols and the workflows. And so, if you're curious about, does Smartwaiver secure this and this and this? Yes, we've gone through that process through a third party. And we're also utilized from Amazon Web Services, which is also SOC 3 compliant as well. So, we have definitely, because we are taking secure information. We take the security of that very, very carefully, and we basically go through all the protocols that are required for a service that requires digital releases.
Yeah.
And just a couple other things to talk about here. Sorry, Brett, I kind of jumped ahead, but each waiver that's completed is stored, encrypted into our servers, and that is unique to that specific document, and that's how we can retrieve that. And just a note on privacy standards, any privacy standard that's required in the United States or around the globe, Smartwaiver has gone through the process of being compliant with those as well. So I just wanted to.
Yeah, thanks for touching on that. And I think it's also important too. I think, Jim, you've shared like our team, data team and engineering team. They are constantly staying up with, what needs to happen next. So they stay ahead of, they stay ahead, and they're constantly developing a more secure platform. So.
Absolutely.
This is all great. I think, good background, talk about capabilities. I know if I'm running a business and I'm talking with you, Jim, I'm thinking, okay, so I sign up for Smartwaiver. I choose to use them. Like, tell me a little bit about support or onboarding, or because at the end of the day, I have to be able to know how to use the platform, and I might need a little bit of help and be able to reach somebody on busy days or busy weekends.
Absolutely. So now we're talking about our support team. So after you talk to me or our sales team, we don't just forget about you. We have a dedicated team that's available via phone, email, and chat. So I think that's 5 days a week. We definitely have somebody here on the weekends that's monitoring emails. So if for some reason there's any sort of issue with the platform, there is somebody here to answer those emails. We also have a status page as well that you can check out. So yeah, very, very easy. As I mentioned at the top, our support team, if you need to get up and running on the same day, they are here to support that. So the moment that you sign up for a trial, you're prompted to email our support team. They get that waiver converted to you, and then from there you can integrate that to the Coreware platform. So great team. I work with them on a daily basis, and so it's definitely an asset that Smartwaiver has.
Yeah, I think we don't have the stat on here, but NPS score, which is like your rating with customers, like our score is world-class. It's above world-class standards. So I can definitely echo that for sure. It's Ezra.
Yeah, one question. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm not distracting, but question related to just your server status. Obviously, waivers is an essential component for a lot of our customers because they can't let someone participate in an event or get on a lane without a waiver. So what's your server uptime? We've seen situations with other companies where server uptime becomes an issue. So I was curious if you could share some of your stats on that, because I know you service a lot of big businesses, a lot of critical businesses that literally can't operate without having a waiver.
So that's a great question. I don't want to throw out stats that I can't back up. What I can tell you is if you go to status.smartwaiver.com, it has a lot of that data on there as far as kind of what our uptime has been, if we're experiencing any issues. We actually even break it down to 7 different components. So API, account management, things like that. So API would obviously be in any integrations we have, like the one we have with Coreware. And so if we're having any issues, basically our status page, which is hosted on a third-party server. So, if our servers are down, basically we have another access point, so we can provide updates to our customers. But I might be speaking out of turn here, but I believe we are in the 99th percentile as far as uptime goes. And if we have downtime, usually that's communicated well in advance of that, and it's usually for North American customers. It's in the middle of the night, so it'll be from 3 to 4 or something like that. We'll have to take it down, but usually the taking down the service is very minimal, and there's limited effect to our customers. In fact, in my 11 years, I think it's probably just been a handful of times.
Yeah, and just to speak from our experience with Smartwaiver, so we started working with Smartwaiver actually what I think the first customer we actually implemented is the largest range operator in the world with 49 locations. And I am not aware of them ever experiencing, in 3 years, I think they've been running it. I'm not aware of any downtime situations, and these are very, very busy ranges. So, I just want to point that out. It was a loaded question. I didn't know if you had actual stats, but just the loaded question was that's part of why, we were able to integrate and kind of forget about it, which is great, right? Because it just runs, and that's one of the reasons we really enjoy our partnership with Smartwaiver. Their systems are solid. With literally, I'm not aware, and I typically will be one of the first to hear about it, because again, when you're at a range running Core Store, if something's down, they contact us because they don't necessarily know, if it's Core Store, if it's Smartwaiver. So just extremely, extremely solid system, back end. And that's an important thing to take into consideration when you're looking at, any type of cloud-based solution, is to make sure that the systems are solid, and there's redundancy, and that there's very, very minimal type of downtime.
Yeah, we figured that a SaaS company that's not operational or has a history of being down is not really functional. So that's our number one priority, is that you can use the service, right? Which sounds pretty basic, but a lot goes into that. All right.
Thanks, Ezra. I think, let me go. I think we'll get into plans, but before we do that, maybe I'll pause. I see there's a question over here. I don't know, Joel, if you want to take that one. It looks like it applies to Core. So let me know if you want to jump in there on that one. Oh, looks like somebody did, I believe. So we'll keep going.
I think
forward.
Josh is answering that one.
Great. I did drop the status, the link to the status.smartwaiver.com in the chat in case people want to take a look. So I think got this on the screen here, Jim. I think it's showing up. Yes.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about pricing a little bit. Yeah. So what does this cost? So you can see here that we have 4 different monthly tiers that you can also pay annually as well if you want. So everything in Smartwaiver is based on volume. So our basic tier or growth tier starts with 100 signed waivers a month, and then you can see it go up from there. So if you say, hey, listen, I'm over 2,500 waivers a month, what does that pricing look like? Well, get in touch with us. And that's where really that customized pricing comes into play. And we can kind of, like I said, build a pricing plan specifically for your business. And so you're having that annual allocation of waivers. So you're having a busy Saturday, busy Sunday. It's like the last thing you want to worry about is, what's my waiver volume at, right? And so with our annual plans, you don't have to worry about that. And so you're paying up front for the year, but you're working off of that annual allocation. And typically there's going to be a discount because you are paying up front. And so that's typically where our team comes into place, and that's how we can customize that plan to meet whatever your needs are. So that's just kind of my spiel about our pricing. And I think we're at the next page is
it's the most important person, your pup.
That's June. She doesn't work on weekends, but I typically do. So if for some reason you have any questions about Smartwaiver or getting up and running or anything having to do with our business, that's my information right there. I think there's a QR code up in the right hand corner there too. So if you need to find more information about us, but I'm as I like to say, I'm not hard to find. You can absolutely get a hold of me if you want to schedule a call, do more in-depth demo on the product. I'm happy to do that. So that is hopefully that's pretty easy to remember. Jim at smartwaiver.com.
Yeah, I think that's the real key you said there. Is it's we shared some slides. When you join a demo, you can just see the power of Smartwaiver. So I encourage existing customers to come check out what's new and what's coming. And then if you have not started to use Smartwaiver yet, definitely reach out to Jim and his team, and we'd love to show you how Smartwaiver can enable and protect your business and help you grow as well. So this has been Joel and Ezra. Thanks so much for the invite. We have about 10 minutes left. I don't know, Ezra, do you have some additional questions or thoughts or other questions that maybe came in? So I just appreciate the time.
Yeah.
No, thank you both for joining us. Go ahead, Joel.
How customizable are waivers, and can our users tailor them for specific needs?
For sure. Yeah. Without knowing the exact needs, it's hard to say, but yeah, we have a lot of tools. Some of those I touched on the top as far as videos and custom fields that are kind of whatever your business is looking for. So if there's more information about your customers that you want to gather from the waiver process, we can absolutely customize those for you.
And also,
and you can have as many waivers templates, right, Jim? I mean, for different types of events or purposes. There's no limitation there.
Absolutely, yeah. You can have as many as you like. There's no additional fees for that.
Awesome.
Also, compliance. I'm sure it's compliant, but again, that's why you guys encourage people to have their own attorneys look things over. Correct?
Absolutely. Once again, regionality is a big thing with any sort of legal agreement. Is basically you're adhering to whatever the standards are within your area, and so please, consult with an attorney and make sure that the language that is written for your range protects your range. Because when it comes to, if you have a claim, you have to go to court. That's the first thing people are going to look at is the language. We can give you a lot of supporting information as far as when it was signed, when it came into our servers, who they are, as far as a photo attachment. But it's really going to start with the legal language. So that's what you have to get locked up first.
And you guys are mobile friendly, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be really hard to operate in 2024 without being a mobile friendly. So yeah, use this on whatever device you have. Yeah.
Hey guys, if you want, you can scan the QR code in the top right corner of the screen to learn more about Smartwaiver. And if you're on your phone, obviously we'll include a link here in just a second in the comments. But yeah, so that's all I had to say. I just had those 3 questions, guys. Does anybody else have any questions? I am so embarrassed, Ezra. He threw me on.
You should be.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, my gosh, how long was I up there dancing around with a freaking laser? It's a freaking laser, man.
Well, if Ezra wouldn't, if you wouldn't have talked trash about the thing, I was going to say, hey, we'll give one away free for the first 5 people to sign up. But I think that ship sailed already.
That would not be a gift.
No,
that would be a curse.
It sailed.
I did think of one last thing. Event coming up, Florida. I'm forgetting what town.
Oh yes, the Range and Retail Show in West Palm Beach, Florida, June 10th and 11th. And Brett and Jim, are you both? July 10th and 11th.
I knew what you meant, but I just had to say it.
Are you both going to be there?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be at that one, but I'm going to have a member of my team, Cole Seaton, will be there with the Smartwaiver booth. And we can share the booth number here in the chat or after the call. But yeah, please stop by. We'll have some handouts that you can, I think they're pretty, our tchotchkes are pretty good. So, stop by the booth and say hi. And, if you have more specific questions, Cole will be able to answer those as well. And our CEO, Evan Williams, will also be on site as well. So I'm sure Ezra Joel, he'll be stopping by, and you obviously know Evan from January. So, but yeah, we will absolutely be there.
So you guys will be at booth 525, and we'll be at booth 211. So
okay,
we'll holler. Obviously, but how far away it is.
Holla. Yeah, it's not a big show, so yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
this was
thanks for the invite. This is great.
Absolutely, man. And Brett, you did great. Because I know when we first got on this morning, you were nervous. I thought
I just was like trying to update logos. Yeah, last minute stuff. So, you know.
I know. I'm going to go back and see. I know I sent you that email. I was like, when you said that, I'm like, are you serious? That email went to the trash then. Is that what you do to my stuff? Is you send my stuff to the trash?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Digital round basket.
There you go.
So I had a question. Anything fun and exciting coming up as far as Smartwaiver? Any
Yes, we have some pretty ambitious projects that we have coming up. I can't divulge them on this call, but this is what's called a tease.
Oh, come on, nobody's listening.
Yeah, this is a tease in the industry. No, we are looking at the platform. We were looking at feedback that we've received for a long time now, as far as additional types of documents that people would like to use with Smartwaiver. So I'll go ahead and lead with that, and adding some functionality into our product that can support those. So, you know, if you can think about all the different documents that you've signed digitally, right? So Smartwaiver is, we're currently in R&D on basically how we can support some of that stuff. So don't want to get too much away, but that is definitely in motion right now.
Very exciting.
Jim's tongue is like partially bleeding right now because he really wants to say it, and I do too, but that'll be good.
Ezra, Joel, I bet you if you corner Evan next month, he can give you more information about that. So
awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah,
we can assure you it's likely not an AI pen, so it's likely not that. But it might involve some AI written music. We'll see.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, speaking of which, that's how we're going to close it out, guys.
All right.
With our last song, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're going to have a webinar probably next week. I think we've already sent some emails out or an email out. Ezra and I are going to talk about the show coming up. So be sure to join us. If you're not going to be at Range and Retail, maybe just attend that webinar and see everything you're going to miss. You may change your plans, but it's a really good show. It's more of an intimate gathering. It's not like SHOT Show, very impersonal. It's very intimate, small. And obviously it's in West Palm, so you can't beat that.
It's in West Palm. It's a great location.
Hot and sweaty. And it's going to be great.
And it's only a day and a half. So you get in, enjoy some time in Florida. You'll be able to see a lot, learn a lot. And
it's going to be great.
I think we'll be serving some Corfine, hopefully.
We will absolutely have Corfine. Thanks, guys. Hey, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Brett. Yeah, it's slowly coming up right now. It's drowning me out. Oh no! Waivers all scribbled on paper in need of something new, but now we got Smartwaiver, making life so sweet. No more lost papers or pens that won't repeat. With digital savvy, saves us time and grief. Smartwaiver, you're the answer, bringing us relief. Used to be we'd sign up for adventures wild and free, but those old waivers, they just weren't meant to be. Lost in the shuffle, a headache and a bore, but now we're signing online. Ain't gonna worry anymore, 'cause we got Smartwaiver, easy as can be, signing on our phones, wherever we may be. No more fuss or hassle, no more wasting time. Smartwaiver, you're all safe, you're making everything fine. By the way, guys, these companies are getting sued by the RIAA. It's a big music conglomerate. So go write all the songs you can before these services go away.
Hey, no, seriously, can you believe just with the small prompt? Obviously, this is like so. How awesome is this, man? How awesome! Hey, Brett and Jim, you guys can make the checkout to Coreware, and they'll give me what I need here.
You said
pass that on to AP.
$4.50. Was there a decimal?
$450 per play. I played the first one 3 times. This is the second one. So, you know what? I'm gonna throw the second one in for free.
I like that. Buy one, get one.
There you go.
Sing it loud and clear. Smart waivers here to stay. No more living in fear.
It's here to stay. All right, bye everyone.
Nice, thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Hey, everybody, just presenters, please remain.